That old neighborhood demolished to make way for an overpass wasn't progress. It was a design decision, and it left a scar on your city. The urban renewal of the 20th century didn't seek to renew, but to eradicate entire communities under the pretext of modernity. The post-war mentality, driven by real estate interests, saw old, low-income neighborhoods not as homes, but as diseases to be cured with a bulldozer. The official term was slum clearance, a social cleansing disguised as advancement. The West End neighborhood in Boston. In the 1950s, it was a vibrant, multicultural community full of life. It was completely demolished to make way for anonymous luxury buildings. What was a strong social fabric became a void. The result was the pulverization of support networks. Neighbors who acted like family were forcibly scattered across the city. What the planners destroyed wasn't just old buildings, it was the very structure of the community, creating deep isolation and the loss of cultural identity. The promise of a modern and efficient life in large concrete towers turned out to be a recipe for isolation and social disaster. The blame lies with the dogmatic influence of architects like Le Corbusier and his vision of towers in a park. Tall, identical, and isolated buildings that promised sun and fresh air, but ignored the most basic human need, interaction at the street level. The Pruitt-Igoe housing project in St. Louis. Promoted as the solution for public housing, its flawed design, with vast, lifeless open spaces, eliminated Jane Jacobs' eyes on the street, creating a surveillance desert perfect for crime. The project became an international symbol of architectural failure, worsened by institutional neglect and racial segregation. Its televised demolition in 1972 was the death certificate of a utopia that proved to be inhumane. The disastrous idea of compartmentalizing the city, housing here, work there, commerce over there, killed the spontaneity and life of the streets. This is the logic of an industrial assembly line applied to a living organism. Single-use zoning dictated that the functions of daily life should be kept in separate boxes, making it impossible to live without a car. Think of the post-war American suburbs, seas of identical houses without a single bakery, cafe, or square within walking distance. They are neighborhoods that sleep but never truly live. The result is the 5 o'clock desert. Business districts that become ghost towns at night, and residential neighborhoods that are deserts during the day. This separation doesn't create order. It creates a void and a total dependence on the automobile. By treating the city as an obstacle to the speed of the car, we allowed expressways to tear our social fabric in half. The car culture of the 20th century redefined a city's success by the fluidity of traffic. Expressways were sold as arteries of progress, but in practice, they bled the life out of entire neighborhoods. Robert Moses highways in New York. He didn't hesitate to destroy neighborhoods like the Bronx, displacing hundreds of thousands of people just so that suburbanites could get downtown faster. The result is the barrier effect. Communities that were once connected were permanently divided by walls of concrete and asphalt. Neighbors who used to chat on the street now live on opposite sides of an impassable border, a mistake that cost many cities their soul. The modernist belief that the past was a mistake to be erased led to the destruction of centuries of accumulated urban wisdom. The arrogance of believing that an ideal city could be built from scratch, ignoring the identity and history of the place. It's the tabula rasa approach. Clear the site and build perfection, even if that perfection is generic and soulless. The Renewal of Bucharest city center by Nicolae Ceausescu. To build his pharaonic Palace of the People, he demolished 1/6 of the historic city, erasing centuries-old neighborhoods and the effective memory of generations. The consequence is the loss of identity. When historical and emotional landmarks are replaced by anonymous architecture, residents feel a deep sense of displacement. A city without history is like a person without memory. Gigantic and monumental projects almost always serve the egos of politicians more than the real needs of the population. The logic is simple. A ruler wants to leave a visible legacy. A shiny arena or a sculptural cultural center is more appealing than the invisible modernization of a sewage system. The problem is who foots the bill for this vanity. The City of Arts and Sciences in Valencia, Spain. A stunning project that cost over €1 billion, indebted the city for generations, and today struggles with underutilization and astronomical maintenance costs. This creates an invisible budget. While fortunes are spent on these white elephants, peripheral neighborhoods continue to lack decent public transport and basic sanitation. It is the materialization of urban injustice. Gentrification is the dark secret of modern urban renewal, a process of improvement that ironically expels the very people who gave the place its identity. When a neighborhood becomes cool and attracts investment, the infrastructure improves, but the cost of living explodes. Renewal guided purely by the market does not seek to include, it seeks to replace. Neighborhoods like Vila Madalena in Sao Paulo. The bohemian and artistic charm that attracted the market was exactly what real estate speculation destroyed, driving out the artists and original residents who could no longer afford the rent. It's a silent displacement, without bulldozers. The community is undone not by demolition, but by economics. The pain of being forced out of the place your family helped build is one of the deepest contemporary urban scars. The fundamental mistake behind all the others was treating the city like an engineering problem to be solved, and not like a complex ecosystem to be cultivated. The reductionist thinking of the 20th century tried to fix isolated parts of the city, ignoring that every intervention creates cascading effects. An expressway here causes a social desert there. A new tower here casts a shadow over there. The fight between Jane Jacobs and Robert Moses in New York. It was the symbolic confrontation between the top-down vision of the all-powerful planner and the bottom-up vision of someone who understands life on the sidewalk. To ignore this lesson is to repeat the same mistakes with new technologies. A smart city imposed from the top down, which ignores the wisdom of its citizens, is just the new concrete utopia. The solution lies in small-scale interventions that allow the city to evolve organically. Which of these mistakes best describes your city? I want to read your opinion in the comments. It's your suggestions that define the next videos for the channel. And if you want to keep decoding the world around you, subscribe so you don't miss the next video.